Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 So
Yay.
we are.
We
Go on.
are live.
We
I'm
are.
in charge today.
You're leading.
I'm leading today. He put me in charge.
Yeah.
Terrible decision, really. So
Yes.
we have, of course, Andy down in the corner. We have
Down
Brandon Thomas, who you all know, Expanding Reality, and we are joined today too by Dawn Lester, researcher and writer, co-author of What Really Makes You Ill and the Nature of Reality. Welcome, everybody.
And we are
Hi.
on
Welcome.
live on TikTok, and this will be going out as podcast audio as well.
Nice.
So,
I'm going to snatch something out of the intro, alchemize it immediately, and just say that this was an excellent decision. You are amazing vibe for this. You've got this covered. So we're just going to go ahead and reprocess and alchemize that. There it goes. Okay, cool. Okay, now what were we talking about?
I don't know. What are we talking about today?
Dude, I think psychedelics, right? Andy, what do you want to talk about, brother?
Anything.
Shit.
Oh, I know. One thing. Right. I didn't get a chance. Well, I did go to the airport. This is for Dawn.
All right. Okay.
Right. Would you believe I did not see any planes taking off or landing? I wasn't there long, but there was nothing. But I was near Mildenhall Air Base in Suffolk yesterday, and two of their plain grey cargo planes took off. Now, this is the weird thing. One of them had two engines on the left wing and one engine on the right. And I thought it was a perspective view of it, but I managed, as I'm driving around, like running alongside the runway, the plane rotated to the right, and it was 2 and 1. I was on the phone to somebody at the time who comes in the chat. I'm like, it has only got 3 engines. There was not a second engine on the right wing, but I couldn't tell if it was front or back. It was very strange.
Bizarre, but I don't know if kind of those sorts of airplanes, because like Mildenhall, it's sort of RAF, so they're not commercial, really.
Yeah, because this was
it was more commercial. Yeah, these were more commercial jets that the Mandela effect seems to have been. Well, yeah, that seems to have affected because that was the thing with where the engines were. It was like I always remember where the wing is. The engine was underneath and pretty much flush with the front of the wing, and now they're just sitting really out front. It's
I sent you
bizarre.
them 2 photos when I flew to America. That was on Norwegian Airways, and it's like the tail bit is at the back of the wing, so it wasn't at the front. But everyone that you see now is at the front. And
Mm.
even on, if you go back to like stock pictures of Boeings and that, they're at the front from like 80s and 90s. I just don't get. I'm glad I took them photos. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean that's the Mandela effect. It's
Yeah.
takes everything and puts it into this new whatever it is, or this changed reality. So it is bizarre. I mean, it was like we spoke, you know, when I was talking to you before, like we spoke about it. It was literally the day before that I'd first heard about it. I was like, oh well, I'll put that to the test because I'm going to the airport the next day, and it was really wow, that's not how I remember where engines are supposed to be. Absolutely bizarre, really crazy. So yeah,
Brandon, Nicole.
you know, I mean,
What's that?
What's your take on
Dude,
the
I'm looking at plane pictures here, and the only thing I can see is
ridiculous.
I mean, no, it's not ridiculous at all. It's fucking amazing, mate, and I love it. Absolutely, the wing thing. They were, in my mind, again, tucked under a little bit. That's an interesting one. But if you look up planes with 3 engines, jet engines specifically, right? Because it wasn't prop what you saw. It wasn't a propeller plane. It was like just a jet.
No, yeah. So there's 2 on the left, 1 on the right.
The only thing that would come up would be this idea of the planes. I mean, there's several models that have this, but there's several planes, and I know you guys have seen it with the jet engine where the rudder is in the back, the rear stabilizer is in the back.
Oh yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
The 3D explanation for this would be you saw one of those from a certain angle to where it looked like, from a couple of these angles, it looks like that wing has 2 engines on it. But I would also say that it's fascinating to think of the accounts of people who see UFOs and things like this morph into jetliners and vice versa. Jetliners morph into UFOs. So you could just be seeing sort of an augmented reality type of a thing.
Yeah, because it was as I'm coming down this road, I'm phone to me mate. I'm like, I like a child, get really excited when you see a plane taking off our landing. So I'm trying to get into a clearing so I could see it, and then as it took off, then it like, I don't know what you call it when they tip to the left or the right. But you could clearly see. And I was thinking the balance must be out unless it's a spare engine.
You know, yeah, because look at this. If you see this one here, that looks like that wing's got 2 fucking engines on it, dude. You know what I mean?
Let's have a look.
Can you guys see what I'm sharing on the screen?
So the one in the top right. Yeah. So you've got the.
What? So you could write this off as perspective. It doesn't mean that it's not cool as shit. You know what I mean? It just means something like this could have occurred.
It wasn't that. Right? So where you see that on the tail, it was definitely under the wing. I was at the back. So I was watching it flying away from me.
Yeah. And, you know, and again, we're just talking perspectives and angles here. From this, it looks, you know, like it could be from the front, but I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm saying, okay, let's start here and then let's talk about, see, like this. It looks like this one has sort of 2 engines on one side, but it is a perspective based on the design of this aircraft. But again, a lot of people say, you know, that they see these chemtrail planes or whatever, which is interesting. They'll be flying along and all of a sudden it'll either have a UFO behind it or turn into a UFO completely, or a UFO will be flying. And then, you know, when I say UFO, we're talking unidentified disc style, sometimes triangles, all that, but it will then turn into a UFO or into a jetliner. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I'll just show you the picture that I sent to Dawn. So this is a flight. I think we're just coming over like Canada way, just before we come down over Boston. And you can just make it, see the engine, they're the engines at the back of the wing. But you can't see them coming out the front. So this is this is 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago when I come to America. And then this is I think this is JFK. It's either JFK or Gatwick, I'm not sure. Don't know if that was going or coming back. Do you see what I mean? So I just don't understand it.
It's a weird realm, brother.
Yeah.
There's something going on, and I don't know what it is.
There was a huge thing for one of the selected people to take part in the selection coming up in our country here soon, and it was a whole crowd of people standing in front of this massive, famous airplane. And in the reflection of one of the engines, actually, now that we're talking about engines, there was no crowd whatsoever. There was a huge crowd in front of it, right? But if you look at the reflections on the plane, which would naturally just reflect what's in front of it, no one there. Isn't that weird? So was it a bunch of ghosts? Is it an AI crowd? Is it like, what's going on, you know? The plane not real?
That could be an AI crowd, yeah, because they're obviously with all the promotion, you know, I mean, they just they're practicing what they can do.
You'd think though AI would figure that out, right? To put a reflection in the jet engine, you know, in metal, something, because they have to code that. That plane would be coded as a glossy surface to reflect any light whatsoever. So within the coding, you would reflect what's in front of it. So why wouldn't it reflect a crowd just based on the logic of the program?
Saying that, when I create the thumbnails, I do a lot of them through AI, and it's so I'll say, can you create an image of da 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 da, and you'll get 4 images, and then it will say, so say it's like an alien in the woods, and it'll say, do you want to add stars? Do you want to add UFOs? Do you want to make it more spooky? So it gives you more and more options. So unless you ask for that specifically, I don't know if it would actually do it. And then you have 7 or 8 different types of, so you get the normal like cartoony type image, then you can change it to watercolor, steampunk, claymation, dot pixel, I think it is. And there's 2 others. Oh, origami, which isn't very good, and something else, yeah. So, but you choose what you want. But to be honest, I've never noticed if when I've done anything with a shiny, like with a reflection on it, if it had a reflection on it.
Yeah, like this picture here, if you could see what I'm sharing. This is the one in question here. Okay, so this is put out as an official, here's a crowd of people excited about their potential candidate for what they're calling an important thing. And there are many issues within this crowd. Guys with double hands, weird things going on in the crowd. You can see just the layering and the contrast. These don't look like they're in the same world, right?
No.
But the most telling is this right here. The reflective surface of this plane, and specifically, you could say this bowls under. And so, okay, I'm with you on that. This, though, is a direct mirror reflection of the crowd there. And again, we're just gonna, and I just think it's interesting that there's nobody there. Look, you can see the building right here. So, go ahead, please.
And that's the point, that you know, it's so much is AI, and it's just getting more and more fake. And what I was going to say about the reflections, I mean, that's you know, it's the usual thing with technology, is that whatever the software is only as good as whoever's, you know, the input information. So, you know, it's the old GIGO thing. So if whoever it is hasn't thought about putting in something that you know, it's like, oh, reflective image, therefore you've got to have whatever it is reflected, you know, if they don't put that into the program in the first place, that's not going to be there. So you know, but these are the clues that really help. And as you say, you know, once you start looking at these images, you start really, you know, if you look at it carefully, you start really seeing the holes in it all. Yeah.
Also, I've just spotted something. So you see how the people that are holding the mobile phones, the one to the left who's got his portrait next to the guy who stood up on the stage.
Okay, the one to the left. This guy here?
Go down. Stop. Go left.
This guy here?
Go to the right.
right.
That phone. Yeah, so
this
if
phone
you
here.
look at the image of that, it's not of the plane, where a lot of the others you can see the blue and white. That one's orange.
Well, look, this is all smudged, and yeah, it's interesting the different images that are occurring on some of these phones, right? Yeah, like this. Like, is he, like this one here is a selfie, obviously, to themselves. This one here is interesting. This doesn't even look like a real phone. It looks like a copy-paste one that they just stuck there. And this looks like 2 hands right here. See the double arm? 2 wristbands?
Yeah, you've got a red dot at the top. So when it says Harris, 2 phones
doesn't get it right all the time.
Yeah, this is well. Yeah, I mean, they just happened to catch all these at the time where they were flashing at the same time, because they flash, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just things like that, right?
ridiculous.
I like the detail on
And
the saggy pants here. That's
yeah,
funny.
and look at where that engine is and how far forward that is.
Yeah,
That's,
there
you
you
know,
go. Way to call back, Dawn. Thank you. It's all about and plane engines let us all of this stuff. Now I don't care about it one way or the other. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. But it is interesting when they put this stuff in front of you to say this is real, this is what's happening. Look at the support that this individual has. I mean, it's unaltruistic, is all I'm going to say. It's seemingly.
Yeah, AI notoriously has a hard time with hands.
Yes, they do.
Why,
yep.
But it's always the hands that they mess up.
Yeah, if you look here again, this guy right here, see the two arms? So two things holding this phone right here, which also, yeah, has a red out image. He's got some filter going, I guess. But you've got two arms coming out of this sleeve right here. See, it splits, and it's got a different wristband here and a little watch or something here. And then the hand just sort of melts off behind itself, and then this kind of is holding the phone like that. But it's weird. It's just odd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at
Right
the bottom right.
They're all
Go
little
to
funky.
the guy with the brown arm, bottom right. Look how long his arm is. It's like
Yeah,
7
right here.
foot
Here we go.
long.
Now I got some long arms, so I'm gonna vouch for that. I've got some.
These
I've got some
long
mighty
arms
tendrils.
Yeah,
and
but they
these
come out of your shoulders, right? They don't
giraffe
come out of
arms.
Now this
But
dude's got
this
a
guy-
reach though.
This
Look at
guy's
that.
got no head.
Sign him up. Sign him up. It's and look at
No.
these though. Look at these hands. Okay, if we're to go in perspective here, look how big this guy's hand is. Okay, shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah.
and then you've got this guy, maybe what, 20 yards away or so, 20, 30 yards away, and his arm is damn near the same size ish. And then you have these people with these freakishly long,
Yeah.
weird arms right
Ooh.
here in this crowded section,
Yeah.
like right here.
Yeah.
If you
It's
go to middle
just
bottom,
weird.
the guy in the baseball cap. Yeah, just below that. Go down. Left. Khaki colour.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Look how short he is in comparison to everyone else. Is that a child of two?
Oh, now you're just roasting people. Come on now. Come on now.
We're just
They
gonna
make
pick
people
on
in
all
different
of AI.
sizes. We're not doing that.
Oh, he's
No.
just
Now you're
tiny.
roasting the
He's like-
AI crowd. I'm kidding. This is awesome. So
He's the
it's
one.
just
He's the
you
guy
can't
who
trust
needs
any
a
of this
long
stuff. And
arm.
I've got there was a wonderful episode we had on the show with Kelly Harding, and it's called something about history. Anyway, it's amazing. It's about cabbage babies and maritime law and Tataria and this ancient narrative. And especially when we talk about stuff like that, like Photoshop has been around for a long time, like a really long time, at least the mid 1800s. They've been stacking negatives, these glass plate negatives, these nitrate film negatives that they had, and doing all sorts of weird stuff. And there's all sorts of like people holding their head in their hands. So they've been manipulating photography for a long time. Then really, when you look into stuff like this, now they're replacing crowds in front of planes that also might not be real. There's staircases that go up to a green screen that I've seen as well that sort of act as you can insert whatever you want there, right? But if you look at it from just a larger level, it seems that now we're inserting a bunch of shit into the front of planes to make things seem different and fuller. But back then, what we're seeing in photographs is that they removed a lot of things. They went in and did what they call vanilla skies, where you can see that they completely erased and chipped away all the little around trees, sometimes not wells, which is why you can detect it. But what are they erasing out of the skies? So they were erasing stuff from then and adding stuff now. Just weird.
So what do you think that they were racing out of the sky?
A bunch of airships and cool shit that was floating around, like a bunch of really cool technology.
Dawn, what do you think?
Well, I mean, airships, and also something to do with the actual buildings, the architecture, or maybe there was, something else that was more obvious in the skies. But I mean, definitely, yeah, we can only speculate, but because we don't have access to it, so we can't see it, so we don't. It's just again what they're hiding. But we learn as we learn. We're recognizing that so much has been obscure, but there's we're learning. It's just tough when you only have little bits of information, so it's like putting a jigsaw together and you've only got a few of the parts. So yeah, but the fact that they have been using that technology to hide stuff from us for ages, and I think it's just getting less and less surprising. Is that okay?
Do you think they'll ever tell us? Do you think there'll ever be any real whistleblowers to disclose what's really going on?
Let me ask you a better one. If someone came forward, would you believe them? And by
Probably
what
not,
metric
no.
would you determine that they were valid?
That's the problem. That's the
the
problem.
only way I would take them seriously to any degree was if they arranged to meet up and talk privately and tell you stuff and not give their name or anything like that. Then I think that'd be more genuine than someone going on CNN or BBC and saying, "Oh well, we've done this and we've done that."
If they're on CNN or BBC, I was like, that's a big red flag. So it was like, no,
exactly.
you know, I'd have a real problem with that. And yeah, even doing it privately, yes, could be at the same time. It depends who they approach, because they could be, you know, manipulating somebody. That was just, there are so many different techniques. But yeah, I mean, it's possible, and there may even be people out there who have started, you know, sharing the information they've got, and are saying, you know, it's not quite ready to come out, or maybe it's there in the background, we're not quite getting to it. So yeah. I think there are people getting more uncomfortable with hanging on to this information and realizing that, you know, we do need it. It's how they put it out, you know, and like you say, you know, believing them, that's
I think that's just my personal. I'd be more likely, I won't say I'd believe them 100%, but I'm more likely to trust them than someone going on national or international TV and obviously being controlled and told what to say.
But then a lot of people that we talk to say that being so public about things is kind of their protection too, because if something bad happens, they were so outspoken, everybody's going to know why something bad happened to them.
True.
It's just, well, yeah, we just know that, you know, like the mainstream just distorts everything. So would they be honest? You know, would they let them actually speak honestly? Would they let them speak openly? But I mean, yeah, I get your point. That I think there are a few people that have got a few different ways of protecting themselves. You know, they've got to, really, depending on how big what they're exposing is. So yeah, there's information, unless they trickle it out to, you know, in other ways.
But yeah, just a quick one. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they were saying if they're releasing it slowly, whether it's like soft disclosure, hidden in plain sight, through Hollywood, or like kind of like tongue in cheek, that way of telling her, there's no karma going to come back to them, because they are telling you what's really going on, and it's down to you whether you have the ability to pick up on what is being told between the lines, and whether you're open to it and you're willing to accept that it's not all fantasy and make-believe, that this stuff is actually going on. So that side to it as well.
But if it goes in Hollywood, you know,
just to go a little bit deep.
The way you're describing it's the sort of the way, I guess, aliens, whatever that is, seem to, you know, give their message out, right? It's very personal, it's very one-on-one, it's very grassroots. It does come and whisper in your ear, but then the other challenge that you run into is that there's no consensus reality with the way the message is delivered. It's all telephone. It's, you know, they whisper one thing in your ear because it's very specific to you and you needed to hear it that way. They whisper something else in somebody's ear, and so now you guys don't have the same story, and so therefore there's an issue with coherency, right? So that's been one of the biggest challenges with any of this stuff. And I think you are the determining factor with this. You've got to call the shots on this, you know, instead of looking out there going, oh, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? Just, well, what is the answer? You know, ask yourself. You can gather all the information that you want, but you're the ultimate barometer for that thing.
Yeah. But like you said, Brandon, no, but what my truth is wouldn't be the same as you guys. But whether it's a whispering in the ear, my perspective of it will be not completely different. Some aspects could be the same, but I think the majority of it is going to be completely different to the next person. A bit like Chinese whispers. It's going to have that sort of effect.
Well, information is always filtered through our own sort of perspective, and
Yeah.
you know, the tighter the perspective, the less that gets through. So again, with more open-minded, like-minded people, the message might be sort of similar, but there will still be variations around the edges because we are all different, and that's, like you say, that's sort of the problem, but at the same time, it's part of the solution. I don't know.
Don and I have talked about this, and this is the most beautiful way I think that we can articulate this is that our job isn't to be everything. We're like a body. We all make up like Voltron, right? If you think of like Voltron or Captain Planet or something, it took 4 of them bastards to summon that dude, right? And then there was a 5th element, right? This, again, 5th element sort of ether, right? Maybe that we're all calling about. But it seems that we all serve an extremely awesome function if we let everybody function that the way that we were meant to. Like, if you're a hand, then be a fucking hand, man. If you're an ankle, be an ankle, right? Like, and it's okay. Just be the shit out of an ankle, right? Like, because it's so fundamental and foundational to all the other parts. It's just, it's when we start going, oh, but I want to be a left eye. It's like, but you're not a left eye, dude. You're a badass hand, man. And you're like cranking shit, you're slapping shit, dude. And so like, it's embodying just sort of your strengths, which make you really embody the role, which makes like what Dawn and I have such complementary relationship, because we are so well aware of the roles that we play in life. Like my role is to this and her role is to that. So we complement each other constantly. It's just this ridiculous yes and rather than this competitive either or. And it's just, that's what it is. It's just about really knowing what your role is here, and whatever that is, just be the shit out of it, you know?
Yeah.
And some people are just asses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine too. You know, you got to pass the shit, you know, and that's fine. You know, because if you think about it, asses actually allow you to trigger and allow you to purge. So just like assholes, they allow you to clear waste that's been stored up in the body that won't come out otherwise. What, you want that leaking out of your eyes, your ears, your mouth? It's going to come out of one place, and that place is designated. It's good for it. It'll hold things in when you want it to. It'll release them when you want it to. Okay, underrated assholes. All right, assholes are underrated, but you know they can be seen as for what they are. They are there to purge and release. If you have your shit together, then you've got nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
That is the point that you know, a lot of people when they come up against situations that you know, trigger them, and they kind of put it out on the other person without realizing that that is an opportunity for them to recognize something for themselves. And again, you get this whole like selfish thing and go around in circles with that, but it's not about selfish, because we are here, you know, as Brandon saying, we're here to be the best whatever we are here, and so it does start with us. So we do have to work out who we are and not keep, you know, putting it out on other people, even though other people trigger us. But it's very difficult when somebody triggers you to just go thank you, you know, it's like you know, you deal with it, and then you know, it's sort of, it's the perspective again,
and it's usually never about the thing. In my experience, it's never about the thing. It's not about the thing. The thing is a puppet that the thing is wearing over its hand. You know, the real shit's underneath that, and really it's the triggering and all that. Like sometimes all I need to cry, dude, and I'll be like, fuck, I just can't cry or whatever, and something will happen, or Mary and I will talk about something, or just something will make it happen. Now, it wasn't the thing that I was crying about. It was I already needed to. You know what I mean? That was the thing that triggered the release that I needed. And so it's this whole, it's really like stepping back, because this is what makes it not personal. This is where you can step back and go, no, it has nothing to do with me, but it facilitated this need that I had to purge. Again, just like your asshole, right? You need it to function, but it's not something you may brag about. Some people like put it online and get $5 a shot. But what I'm saying is that all of it's necessary, all of it's functional, but really, again, you know, by just embracing that bit, you can really take it less personally. You can just say, okay, wait, that triggered something, which is not a shot on me personally. It's an opportunity, exactly what Dawn said. It's an opportunity in disguise to go, thank you, triggering ass universe, because you're a fuck around and find out place, and I'm just sort of embracing that now. And thank you for facilitating that, because that's off the list. I'm well more aware of myself and how my relationship to this realm, right? It's beautiful.
Yep.
Well, yeah, fuck around and find out kind of place. You called that right.
Just what it is.
And I feel like once the universe knows,
and
it keeps going. It just keeps pushing.
Well, as long as you feed it, okay? Think of it like a fire, right? And so it's the wolf that grows, you know? And so if it's getting a reaction out of you, if it's getting your attention, I've likened this to a carnival game So when you go to carnival games and you like shoot the gun, the water pistol in the clown's mouth, and it blows up a balloon, and you try and fill up, there's a stack of these things, and you try and fill up the balloon before the other person, and you pop it, and it wins, right? That is this place. What you're shooting your energy, your attention into is consuming and filling up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Only those things don't really break. I mean, I guess inevitably they will, which is your tower moment, right? But then it's not like you can stop it way before that. You just simply turn the stream off. You really turn it inward. Just say, hey, I'm going to work on my shit. I'm going to go clean out a closet. I'm going to go work on art. I'm going to write my badass book. Things like this. It's your recognition of where your energy is going. I think that's what's so beautiful about those things, because you're absolutely right. They intensify and they get worse and they persist and they get scarier and all that shit because you were taking it so personally. Think of if you grew up with siblings, if your sibling was picking on you and he or she got a reaction out of you, that was their life. That was their mission. That was all they wanted to do because it got a reaction. And they didn't care what kind of squeals and anything they got. They just got attention from you. You filled their balloon and it persisted. Just turn the faucet off,
Yeah, it's a question of how you feed things and how you actually see the response and the reaction. I mean, yes, it's so and it's okay to react. It's okay to sort of be angry and explode and all of that. Because you go, oh, you mustn't be angry, because that's something for me of with anger, and it's like, oh, I'm now recognizing that it's not a problem, but it's what you do with it. If you get that that release or whatever, because if you don't, you just suppress it all and you hold it all in. But of course, we've got this thing of the part of the conditioning is, oh, you mustn't be selfish, so we don't think of doing things for ourselves or being ourselves, and so we have all this suppressed. So that's why there's so much kind of chaos going on, because we're always like, oh, you mean I'm supposed to actually think about myself? Well, yeah, and it's new for a lot of us. It's like, okay, start to think for yourself. Yeah, exactly. And they know how to push out the programming. I mean, that's what went on in the last few years of getting us to be scared of what we could do to someone else. So we had to suppress whatever it is we wanted to do, like go and see people and hug them. Well, I mean, some people did. Some people stopped that. Some of us just carried on as normal. But I mean, what I mean. But they played on that, and so they know how to play on things. So that's why it's coming out of this conditioning. It's really knocking down so many different walls and breaking so much apart. And I mean, it's interesting at the same time. It can be quite challenging. So yeah, it's learning how it all works, and it is to like you say, Brian, it's to play around with it in a way. Only sometimes it can feel a little bit heavier than what you think of as a game. So I'm like, oh no, this doesn't feel much like a game. And other times you go, yeah, this is fun,
Yeah. But once you, to all of you, once you realize that, once you filter it all out and you've seen like the real picture of what is actually going on, did you get that big sigh of relief that was like, wow, this is, I'm trying to choose the right word so you don't get kicked off.
I'm trying to be careful too.
Should we be careful? I'm just speaking like I normally do. I'm dropping out. Would y'all rather me talk differently and put a filter on or something?
Just got a
list of these words I can say.
I just got a pop-up on TikTok saying you are now restricted to certain things. So
that one's on me. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
No, I think he's doing it on StreamYard because I got it too. I had to switch to just the video because StreamYard restricted us.
Because we're on YouTube, aren't we, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's... Oh, right, because I mean, on YouTube, the sort of, F words are kind of whatever is fine. It's just there are certain other words that you can't use, which are like part of normal language.
I'm using all of them. That's just the way I speak.
Oh, no, I mean in terms of certain invisible enemies and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
So we'll keep away from those.
Yeah, so when you realise that, oh, this is not the real world, that moment that you realized, did you find it pretty much life changing, or was you already at that point during the 2.5 years that we were restricted on where we could go and what we could do?
Well, because of the research, I knew some of that, not all of it. I mean, there's still things I've learned since. So I don't think I had a kind of a one moment where it was. It's just, it's been a sort of a series of steps of seeing things. Because I mean, at the beginning, it was just like surreal.
Yeah,
absolutely surreal the way people were walking around, and it carried on, and it's just, it wasn't a moment. It was just the ongoing how things were, and it stayed ongoing and just got more stupid in the last few years. But I mean, unlike so many people over the last few years, they've had to really step up what they've learned and dive into all these different things much faster. I mean, I sort of had plenty of time to build up to to learn. So, studying for the book, there's like all sorts of other research I was looking into, and I mean, a few new rabbit holes since 2020. A few, and I'm still going, because there's still more to learn. It's exciting stuff. So it's not. I think for people who kind of came to this knowledge because of the sort of 2020 nonsense, is that they've gone through this process much faster, and it's been harder for them. So it's been more of a process. But in terms of knowing that this reality isn't fixed or whatever, that goes back to, you mentioned the book The Nature of Reality. When I first came across the course, came across the knowledge, the real aha moment was hearing the phrase, "You're as dead now as you're ever going to be." And that was just like, I knew it. And I was like, oh, actually I did know it, but it was like, I didn't know I knew it, but it was just that moment of something, the penny just really dropped heavily.
The realization of it.
Yeah, it was about 20 years ago. It was like it was all festering around at the back, but I'd never found a way to actually express it, explore it or whatever. And hearing that, because part of that is what is life all about? And this whole thing of being a tiny speck and all that nonsense. It was like, no, we're not a tiny speck. There's something more. And that was just so empowering. At the same time, what it's all about is still a journey I'm working on. I'm working my way through, because there's so much more to learn how it works. I don't know if we'll ever know how it works, but how this realm works, what we do. But it's it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. Do you think that pushed us into a new reality, more people towards enlightenment?
Sorry, I missed the beginning of that. Apologize. Can you say it again?
2020 kind of pushed everybody into a new reality, or more people towards enlightenment, because everybody was just sitting around thinking about the meaning of life or whatever?
I think a lot of people, because it changed the way they lived their lives, that they started looking at things and found out that a lot of how this works isn't what they've been told. And so it did really kickstart a lot of people into having a look at what's going on, even though it's still a process, but it was quite a shock for a lot of people, because I've spoken to various people, and they just say it's been a tough ride, a tough 4.5 years for them.
Can I just
it is for me. Go on.
Sorry, I was just say, can I just quickly add? So we worked through it because we both work in like the medical profession. Nothing great, but so nothing changed other than us not being able to go out for drinks and meet people and go out for meals and that. We carried on. So as I'm working and watching, like literally nothing on the road, but I'm still going into hospitals and clinics and all that kind of stuff. And you're looking around and they're saying all this different stuff in the media, and you're like, no. And then I'm talking to people that are working in these different professions, and it's like, that was a moment when I realised that I'm never ever watching the news again because it is pure fake.
Yeah.
And it was just, I shouldn't really be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We just carried on as normal with the masks. Yeah. If anyone asked me, did I wear one? I wore one. If anyone asked me, did we not meet up with people? We didn't meet up with people. You know?
Yeah.
And nothing happened with any of what they said you should be doing to what we actually did. There was no life-changing effects, shall we say. And
so no repercussions.
Nothing whatsoever.
Mhm.
Absolutely nothing. It was like, yeah, we're being lied to. It was that moment of realization. It was just a little bit of everything just made one big bowl of crap, basically. Yeah. I'm just trying to be really careful with what I say. I know what I want to say, but maybe I'll just turn the computer off now if I'm going to do that.
So where do you get your news? Like, all of you guys. Brandon, where do you get your news from a reliable source?
I think Mark Twain had the quote applying to, it was relative to his time, that those who read the newspaper are misinformed and those who don't read the newspaper are uninformed, meaning that they're being lied to. If they read it, they don't know what's going on as far as those people want them to know what's going on. If they don't read it, I find myself in the latter. I don't care what they have to say. I think it's all horseshit. I have really just dialed my barometer into that. Brian C. in the chat actually nailed it with this. So I'm going to quote him here. We will never know the truth until we go home. Until then, it won't matter. So until then, question everything and everybody and just know your own truth and walk your own path. That's it. Like, he nailed it with that. Yeah. Anything else is just what we think about it, honestly. This, honestly, that's the most true thing ever right there. So Brian C. nailed it with that. We can all just go home, actually, and just, get on platforms where we can say what we want. But I do think that those who choose to engage in that still have some desire for that to be in their life. A lot of people need somebody to tell them what's going on and how to act and how to react and what they should care about and what they should be concerned over and what they should find cool and what they should wear. And some people just want that, and that's okay. That's been okay, actually, for a long time now. And 2020 really sort of wheat from chaff this thing. And yes, you either went home and you got way more dug into the programming and you drank yourself to death and you made those choices, or you quit drinking altogether and you wrote your book and you did some amazing things. And I've had a lot of people on the shows where that was their story. Man, I was doing this and it was, and then 20 happened, and then, I had to go home, but I got to go home. I actually stopped drinking. That was a big thing for me. And then I wrote this amazing book, and now you're having me on your podcast because of it. Like, that's amazing. That's what I think it really was. And now look at what we're doing, right? Since then I've, quit drinking, quit my job that I had. We have all changed so damn much since that time. And it's been a wonderful opportunity for all of us to just sort of go, hang on, this realm might be a little bit different. And I think that's the greatest gift that you can get. But also, exactly what we were told in the chat there, that it's up to you. This is the empowerment part of it. So this is sort of the weaning off of the teat. And it's just it's a hard teat to get off of, man. Folks just want their Kardashians. They want to sit around. They want to have, these easy choices at a supermarket. They think raw milk is weird, and because they've been trained to think that, and they think bugs are weird because they've been trained to think that, like going outside and touching them, that they're okay with eating them. It's really interesting. So it's this natural inversion that I've seen going on for a while now. And I've been, to answer your question from earlier about, I'm going on my 24th year of a red pill, I guess you could say, of being unplugged from this shit and seeing it the way that we're talking now. And it continues to amplify. It gets easier for damn sure. And that's why, to answer your question, Nicole, I can do it with such confidence, because the only reason I would is so I could show you guys on that picture, that there's that you're being lied to. You know what I mean? Even the Afghan picture with the plane. Remember that? And people were flying off of it and shit.
I should remember it, but I don't.
Okay, there was something that was going around a little bit ago, and it had all to do with this airplane where all these people allegedly were running up underneath. Okay, let's do this. Found it.
Yep.
And this will answer your question as well. So this is why I don't care right here, because if you look at this image, which they're going to ask me to, son of a bitch with this. Okay. If you look at this image right here, can anybody tell me something about this picture that may look off? Anybody? Just no
Which image
judgment
are you
here.
looking at? The big one.
The big one.
Oh, is it sharing? Which tab is it sharing? Oh, hang on. Let me do
Oh.
this.
Oh, you've done it.
I got it. You know what it is? It's on this one. It makes it shares independent tabs, and it's just new for me. Okay, this one right here. Does anybody see anything interesting on this photo at all? On this image? Let me say that.
It looks very fake.
They're running away from it.
Well, the story is that they were trying to escape for their lives, right? And hop on this plane, and they were so desperate that a few of them clung to the outside of the plane as it took off, and then there were images of what they said were bodies falling from a plane, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is But yes, so that was the story with this. So they're actually running alongside of it is the story to catch it, so that they could be whisked away to safety, right?
Yeah,
that's one detail about this.
Well, Baby's just put fake windows.
Okay,
oh,
that's interesting.
There's no engine.
Now we're talking. Keep going.
So there's no engine. You can't see the wing on its left-hand side, our right. So that the other side engine just floating, and then you've got like sand dune and a helicopter in the background. And it's very short and stubby.
It is. It's very little midget plane.
Yeah. It's a midget plane with one wing and a floating engine and no windows.
But Andy's very focused on people's height today and planes being short.
I'll tell you a story about that later. This podcast that I did yesterday is quite funny. Yeah, basically, like Baby with Laser said,
is inflatable.
Oh yes, inflatable. I remember now.
I love your audience. I love your audience.
They're great.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
so, yes, that pic is lifted from a video. That is a video, Grasshopper in the chat. But what we're going to show here is that, can you guys see my mouse on the thing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look here, does anybody see these numbers right here?
Yeah.
Does that remind you of anything?
9/11.
9/11.
Right. So the other thing about this is if you do look at the windows, whoever said that, shout out. Whenever you look at real windows, they are glassy, they are reflective, and you can actually see a little bit inside of them. This is a matte finish that is one continuous surface, which is why it looks like that. Now, the other thing is all these folks under here, no pilot in their right mind, military or otherwise, would drive an aircraft down a runway. I don't give a shit who it is, with all of these people here. Okay. Now, another thing that you're going to notice is a lot of men. They said it was a lot of women and children and all that kind of stuff. I only see men in any of these photos. Another thing is if you look under here, a lot of the concentration of men seem to be gathered underneath, lifting their arms up as if, I mean, they look like they're carrying the damn thing, don't they? And what's this? Is that part of the aircraft? Is that a handle for them all to be lifting this inflated plane and running down? And, none the wiser, right? Maybe these people weren't doing this nefariously. Maybe they were like, oh, shit, they got us a blow-up plane. They said if we run down this aircraft, we'll get, some food or something. Yeah, they're going to make a meal for us. We'll do it. They had no clue what this footage was going to be used for. But, right to say, Andy, no engine. I don't know where they're going with this.
No engine. No engine, no wing.
You got 46 president that breaks down in this as well. There's some numerology stuff here. And all of these little things on the outside are all inflatable as well. I want to show you guys one more image because this technology has been around for quite a while. If you remember back to, I want to say it was Patton, right? World War II. He had this whole concept of inflatable military. And if you could see this, can you guys see the multiple tanks and stuff?
Okay. Oh, yeah, they used inflatables.
They did, didn't they? So they have this right here, and it was brilliant. They had actors who would walk around on these staged battlefields, and it gave the impression that they were staged one place when they weren't. And that's how the invasion of Normandy happened. They had all these inflatables, these actors, because they were able to commit forces to one side while they attacked another. So if they were doing this in World War II, and we have black and white photos of guys lifting up tanks, taking them apart, all of this stuff. Now from the air or anything like this, or maybe even from a little bit further away, one could say that, maybe people wouldn't notice it. But again, Whenever you're talking about why, do you watch the news? And I'm going to stop with this. And thank you for asking your question. When you say, why don't you watch the news? It's because of this shit right here. Right the fuck here.
But it's like you saying about the inflatable tanks and that, it's to make it look like their army and their ammo and their artillery is bigger and they have a lot more of it, and they can put it out onto different borders to make it look like they're either protecting or attacking or both. So it's what's it called? Fake news.
Do you know the number one consumer of helium?
Yeah.
Military.
Dawn, get it.
It's NASA, isn't it?
NASA. 99.9% of all helium on the planet Earth goes through NASA. Now, why the hell would they need a bunch of helium? Do you want me to pull up satellites, what they really look like, which they're balloons that landed in people's backyards and shit, and how the undersea cables is really how that works? And so if you think about this, the deception's all over. It's a light and picture show where those shuttles are going up at, and if nothing else, they go up arc and they dump into the Bermuda Triangle. So it's really interesting. Again, whenever you start looking at this, all it is perception management. Now, if you're looking at it and you're watching it and you're getting even the slightest bit emotional about any of the content you're seeing, but then you see this inflatable plane, all of it is under that umbrella. All of it is under this fake ass umbrella. And whenever you see newscasters and shit in movies, they are revealing who they really are. They are actors. They're not playing a role in a movie as the newscaster they normally are and taking a break from that. They are showing you in the movie that every day they are an actor.
Yeah. But also, no, it's completely gone. Oh my God. I've had the flash.
That was, I thought it was just me. Are we all back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to say something. Brandon, can you repeat what you started off saying?
Woo Riders DG said it. The world is a stage. Boom, right there. Nailed it.
Yeah.
It's the theater of war. And you know what the result is? You emote. You get emotionally involved. And if you're not emotionally involved, then someone around you who is emotionally involved will get you emotionally involved about not being emotionally involved. And there'll be conflict about just your abstinence from it. The potential conflict, which is again a trigger for you, an opportunity in disguise for you to not engage in that shit.
And saying the world is a stage, it's supposed to be Shakespeare. I mean, have you gone down that Shakespeare wasn't? Yeah, I mean,
I had a lady on who wrote a badass thick book about this thing. It was amazing, but yes, and apparently she knows exactly who it was and all this stuff, and it was just fast.
Well, there are a lot of people who have different ideas, and they say it was the Earl of Oxford. But I mean, from what I've looked at, it definitely looks like it was Francis Bacon and a group of writers around him, because he was very much part of the establishment. He had access to all the information that was actually encoded into those books, and he also had access to the King James Bible for 12 months before it was actually published.
Yes, I've heard that.
And so so there's a lot of, when people say, there's esoteric stuff in the Bible or whatever, you go, that's not surprising, because he was, and that people say, part of the establishment at the same time. Who knows what information he was trying to get out. And again, it's just
but quickly, while I remember and while Dawn's frozen, when with the news they must do this, they play the different frequencies while it's running. You don't physically hear it, but your brain picks it up. So you've got like the fair frequency. I think it's like 44 or 43 or something. It's 4 something. It might be, I don't know, it could be anything, but it begins with 4. And if you're listening to that, they do it a lot in horror movies and that, when something's just about to happen. So it heightens you're getting ready with your adrenaline. Like if you're watching a movie, you'll find yourself like gripping or sitting on the edge of your seat. And that's not because you're watching it, it's the frequency that you're listening to. So my belief is that they do that on media with news and all the other BS that we have to listen to and watch.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if anyone's looked into, these the signature tunes of the news programs, like the whatever it is that, the BBC it's done in a certain way to get us into a particular frame of mind. Yeah.
Because when I'm making my intro and outro, I can add them frequencies into it and no one would. It's easy, so easy to. It's just an overlay.
Except for you just admitted that you were mind controlling your
I
audience.
haven't done it yet, only because. Oh, sorry, 1 second. It's saying that TikTok is going to close, and I just got to do a jigsaw. It's
good riddance.
Oh,
good.
And
there are platforms coming that want us to be ourselves, and it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to hurry up because it's annoying, antagonizing.
If you choose for it to be, Andy,
the sooner.
Alchemize that shit, dude.
That is my lesson that I'm taking away from this today: is choose what you give your energy to.
That's it. That's it. That's your only real currency, by the way. Your only real value here is your attention. It's, I mean, the value you offer to others and the help and all that. But I mean, as far as the realm is concerned, that's all it's after ever. It's not after your money. It's not after it's because it's after your money because of the attention and attachment you have to it. That's it. Which again, boils all the way back down to your attention. That's why you're traded in the open market on the stock market, because you're an electromagnetic being that's like a power station of shit. So yes, Nicole nailed it. Absolutely nailed it with this. Be mindful of your attention. Watch what you're inflating around you. What wolf are you feeding, right? Love or fear? Which one?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of people have asked me recently, what I know about all the so-called riots or stuff that are going on. It's like, I don't know much about it apart from a couple of images that have floated across. So, look out my window, nothing's gone on here. And that's not ignoring it. It's not ignoring reality. It's not, denying it, whatever. It's just, it's not happening and I'm not feeding it. I'm not buying into the fear. I know it's kind of part of what their plan is to divide. Yeah, that, they want to divide. So that's why my focus is, like you say, Nicole, what we put our attention to. My focus is on having conversations, collaborating, doing things together, being what we can be and sharing our resources or whatever it is with each other, because that's the opposite of what is being put out there that we're supposed to do. And just go, okay, well, what's the way, how we're social beings. So what's the best way? So let's see what we can do together and let's create things. Let's be creative, use our talents, find even more talents, keep looking, keep playing when you can, and don't get kind of drawn into the there's been some weird stuff going on this week, but hey, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes
but that's
astrology. Yeah.
But that's what I was saying about during when we weren't allowed to play out. The same thing, carry on going, carry on being yourself, carry on doing what you were doing. That was what, like I said, you weren't a lot better than I did. That was when I realized that's what you need to do and then to become creative. Because it was during that I did all this.
Yeah, you already are creative. Just give yourself permission to do it. And there's a lot of folks out there who have these little splinters back there in their little persona that you can open up with psychedelics. There we go. We talked about it. You can get that hyper state of sensitivity and unplug that little thing, right? And it's when your mom ran in and yelled at you that you shouldn't draw on the wall, right? And color on the wall. But you were like 2 or 3 or something. You don't even remember the shit. But subconsciously, for some damn reason, you now will not do art or share your gifts with other people because of this one silly moment. So again, parents, be mindful about this shit, right? You're going to fuck your kid up for a little while, which is again part of the right. I don't know. But it is interesting to think now that you're giving yourself permission, which you always had, which no one had the right to take away from you, which also no one took away from you. You offered it, which is a whole mindfuck as well, which is why you can be easier on yourself through this process. Rungs on a ladder, gang. Just rungs on a ladder. Just climb it and move on, right? Don't bitch about the 6th rung back. You're just like, oh man, that rung, fuck that rung. No. You already passed it. You're gone. Move forward. That's in the review, So
been and gone.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, man. Just amplify, move forward in the strongest you and share all that shit. Cause you're a hand, man. That's when your hand got slapped and your mom told you not to be a hand. But it's like, no. You're the shit out of a hand, man. Just be that,
It reminds me of that scene from The Lion King where Rafiki bonks him on the head. And he's like, what does it matter? It was in the past.
Yes, exactly. This is why, man, I will, because there's a difference between also, and this is important for anybody, because there's going to be, these conversations that happen in your head probably whenever you really start to garner this, your energy, and you really start to pay attention to where it's being outsourced to, right? Is that you're going to get folks that are bitchy in your life, and they just want to bitch. They just want to talk about the things that suck ass in their reality. And that is the balloon they're filling. That's the wolf they're feeding. And it's a massive wolf. It's like that big one on Thor Ragnarok, right? And so they have this massive thing, but it's your choice to be engaged in that. And then also to, be sort of, what do they call it? Co-miserator in that, you can even just say, oh, well, I just agreed with them because they're there and they just need somebody to listen to. Yes, to a point, but there's a difference between venting and then planting seeds and parasites in you. And that's where your discernment comes in, right? Let your friends vent and stuff like that. But when you catch the cycles, and you'll catch this, Nicole, you nailed it with this, you'll catch them a rung or two back and you'll feel the energy dip. They'll be here. Oh, but last week stop right there. Like catch them, shake them if you need to, physically grab them and go, blah, 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 blah. We're not there. Stop. Why? Because it's a habit to bring that energy back to your now because you're so high. You're like, oh my God, I'm fucking doing awesome. But there's a part of you that's a crab in a bucket that's going to go, you deserve to be brought down a peg because of X, Y, and Z programming. That's the part you alchemize. That's when you grab it and you just go, no. That's not my thing anymore.
That's what I do. When someone starts being negative, I'm like, no, don't. If you want to do it, go somewhere else because I'm not here for that.
You are here to be a strong ear. For people to hear, like if they need a shoulder, they got something they're working on that they just have got a fucking diarrhea of the mouth out, dude. Absolutely.
That's a different.
It is, and you nailed it with this. And so it's important to spend time on this so that folks out there listening know that there is a difference in energy.
Yeah, it's not like a different level. That is a different realm completely. It's not connected to the negativity of the BS that we're being told. When something personal happens with someone, they need to talk to someone else about it. Then I'm all ears. Saying that I hope that if it's the other way around, then can recreate it that way as well. But just for someone, them for it being for the sake of it, it's like, no, sort yourself out.
There's a difference between in the moment and you're processing it and you're moving past it to dwelling on it and bringing it up constantly.
Yes,
letting it.
Yes.
Yeah, I use the analogy. If you it's just one of you. If you're crossing a stream over stepping stones, you don't pick up the stepping stone you just stepped over and carry it with you. You just leave it behind you and just keep stepping forward. Yeah. And it's not about sort of denying stuff or ignoring whatever. If stuff comes up, you deal with it. And if again, when you're dealing with other people's stuff, there's almost always something in there for you that you can recognize. It might not be exactly the same, but you can see that there's something and so there's something there for you as well. And as you're talking through with them, you're talking things through for yourself as well. So because it's so much easier, I mean, I've said a few times, we can't see our own blind spots, and so somebody bringing some shit up, we kind of like, that's we can recognize if there's something in ours as well, which is why as you say, talking to other people, we can clear some stuff, because this it's not over. It's an ongoing journey. It's just, I think the idea is it might get better sometimes.
When we decide it will. That's it.
Yeah. Well, when
just we decide it, you just decide it, and then you just do that, And it's just sort of that idea that I'm just sick of waiting around on other people to do it for me, kind of thing, right? I'd just rather let's just go do it. Let's just go create the life that we want. And the obstacles that come up, good.
Turns into a therapy session here.
Yeah.
Is that what this feels like? I think we just chat, I just talk like this all the time. Don and I have conversations on WhatsApp like this, like a couple times a week. We'll just chat with her when we're walking the labyrinth and we just talk shit. It's great.
Yeah. But something happened today that was, can I just tell you this quickly? Sorry for butting in your conversation. Something happened today, which was quite. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to say anything about who it was or what it was about. And I was speaking to this person. I'm like, oh, right, I'll leave you to it. And they're like, no, it's fine. I could do with somebody to talk to. I'm like, go ahead, give me what you've got. And they went into it, and it was really deep. And it's like, yeah, I was there for him like I would be for anyone in that position, because it was pretty shit. That's all I'm going to say. But then you'll speak to somebody else and they're just moaning because they've got leaves in the backyard or something. And it's like, please, really? Is that what you've got? Do you know what I mean? So there's no comparison between the two. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Mm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's again the discernment part, that it's for us to decide again what we want to give our energy to. And if somebody's just going to be an energy drain, just like sort of parasite of moaning about stuff, and there's nothing in there that will be useful for you, and you just you go, okay, I have something else to do, and off you go. Yeah, it's I suppose in the past we kind of feel obliged to hang around and be polite, just listen and just no, go, but you just no, sorry, I've got something else to do. Yeah.
But do you find now though that when you go out on social events after being opened up to all this, that so I need to be careful in case anyone's watching, that you kind of like it's too, what's the word? Mundane.
He was tactful.
There was another word, but that's the one I chose.
What's the one you wanted to say?
No, there isn't one. No, I lied. Carry on, Brandy.
You put it in the chat, I'll say it. I don't mind.
You know what I mean, though? Sometimes, I don't mean every single time I go out. Certain times where you go into certain places and you think you can't be bothered with the small talk that is going to be there.
I hate small talk.
It's grinds you down. It's cringy. It's just awful. There's just no need for it.
I can't do it. I can't sit there and be like, make little idle chit chat. Like, let's get into some deep conversations. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
That's why you keep the fart maker on you, to avoid small talk.
I'm not saying it's all bad, but just particular situations is what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it doesn't fill your cup, it needs to fill your cup, and that's again part of your energy. Are you going out to spend it on in that to where it's being siphoned? You can picture all those people like sticking a little straw in you and just sucking energy off of you. Is that what you want to serve up for?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Honestly, well, maybe treat it like that. So, and then treat it like that and choose differently.
If you treat it like that and choose differently, we'll never probably speak to anyone on the outside world ever again. No, I'm only
the other thing is to see, when you're speaking to the people, if maybe there's an opportunity, then an opening to actually, say something and get some response. And again, to see if you can find out if anyone's a bit open-minded, just try it. Because I again, this is the kind of us and them thing, and I'm not totally sure, it's like the idea that we're separating. I mean, are we, if we're all human beings, are we separating into different places, or is it just that those of us who are aware of more aware of what's going on, are we just the leaders? Just the people who are at the front of working our way through the jungle. Really, somebody's got to be at the front to with the machete to cut through all the whatever it is, and we come together. But I understand when they're just talking about complete nonsense that's somewhere, and you've got no idea what they're talking about because they're talking, celebrities, and it's like, I've no idea who these people are, so you can't join in that conversation in the first place. But it's just sometimes that you might have an opening to say something, and maybe and wait for an interest, and if you see a spark of interest, you kind of, you can pick at it and just try and develop a conversation. But if it's sort of dead, it's just, okay. Yeah, don't waste,
I just need to clarify. So I'm out tomorrow night, and it's not them people that I'm going out with tomorrow. They're great people. It's not them. Just
they're on right now.
Some of them do watch it.
Yeah, are they in the chat?
They're our social circle. We go out quite regular, so that's good because they know what I do and so on and so on. So it's I'll tell you off air anyway. But Joe's just put up in the questions. So without small talk, how to start a conversation with a stranger?
Fart maker. Ask them how much a polar bear weighs, and when they go, "What?" You go enough to break the ice.
Yeah. Hey, the most obscure.
What are you?
Yeah.
You say you dropped your pocket, and they'll look down and they go, "Hang on, I can't drop a pocket." What? And you'll be best friends forever. I mean, I'm telling you, fart maker as well. It'll weed out the people you don't want to talk to, and then the guys that will laugh. That's the ones you want to start a conversation with. I think it's just about redefining sort of small talk, right? I mean, what do we mean by that? Because small talk could be, us hitting on that the Antarctic Treaty is pretty interesting, that all the countries kind of decided that they can't agree on anything else and they bomb each other, but you can't go there. They can all agree on that. And that there might be just some sort of toroidal donut type Earth thing going on that they're hiding from, which is an endless resource type of a thing. And so there's fascinating bits of small talk that we can engage in on a light level.
Yeah.
That's deep for us, I suppose. But I mean, really, they're just the type of conversations we're having. We're just raising that caliber. And what's interesting too is when you find yourself in those social circles, you will see what's called the Mr. Smith effect. Have you guys ever seen this, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I have heard of it, but I cannot remember. My memory is shocking.
Mr. Smith effect is from The Matrix. The Mr. Smiths, of course, can turn into anyone in The Matrix, right? They can just appear as the cop, as the helicopter pilot, as whatever. And so what you'll find is, as Dawn said, when you present these little seeds of whatever, into the sphere of conversation, rather than the Real Housewives of whatever, or how big whatever Kardashian's butt's getting, like you plant like some sort of question or something like that, you'll see this wipe go over the people, and they'll just sort of give you this stare, and they give you this Mr. Smith stare where it's just this fluoride glare at you, where there's no way for them to be able to process that information. So the question really isn't like, how do you survive that situation? It's what kind of human do you want to be, right? There's a way also to go into that situation, troll the shit out of it, have a blast, and still have your energy felt but not sucked upon, right? And this is where you walk in and control the situation. You know what you're getting into, you entertain it, but not at a sacrifice of self. And there's a very different nuance in there, because that's a level of kindness that's very important, because eventually these folks are going to start asking you questions because they know you're the one to come to when they start having their awakening, which seems to be happening all over the place. And so, but because of your kindness in all of it, even though you're punching down, air quotes, then the way to look at it is, again, that you're really this figure, and your being, your presence is what it's all about.
Yeah, but we've just quickly going back to small talk. If you have to do small talk with someone, then for me there is no connection. If you meet someone, like the first time I spoke with Dawn and Nicole, all three of you, like when I started sending voice notes to Brandon, it was like we'd known each other from like the age of 5. Do you know what I mean? Easy. It was like that connection was back, and there's no need for small talk. Instantly, you're 4, 5, 6,000 miles away. Instantly, there's a connection. With Dawn, we were talking for 20 minutes, half an hour after we did the show, and we just the stuff we were talking about. That I would have loved to have recorded it and put it on, but we won't be sat here now. We just so deep, and I find the deeper we go down a rabbit hole, I get a better understanding of it than just the little bits that are on top. I think the deeper you go, your mind, it activates something in your brain, your mind, your soul, and it just like starts. Like I was saying to you, Brandon, as you were saying stuff, it was like ping, 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 with all the different little
locks
things.
and keys. We all just have locks and keys,
constantly opening.
Yeah.
So small talk is for lack of connection with someone.
And I think you can still have those chit-chatty, like this, it can be the same topics, but like the difference between small talk and real talk is like, I actually care what you say. Like when you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, how's the weather? Do you really care? Like, oh, how are you doing? They're going to say fine. And you're going to, like, you can have that same conversation, but actually having a connection come from it is the difference between small talk and like conversation.
I do not disagree at all. And I love what you said. And I'm just thinking here about this. The difference is feeling and connection, and you nailed it with this, right? But it's really feeling. Okay, it's inviting that little 5-year-old in them that's buried beneath a mountain of programming that's just crying to get out. They don't know how to communicate with people other than to drink and to talk about the same old things, and they are really, really struggling in there. But now you're in their presence, which it should be an indicator to you that they're ready for that light to be cast their direction, right? And so with this, then, when you can ask somebody, and actually, Jojo, I changed my answer. Fuck the polar bear thing. Ask somebody how they're feeling. Not what are you doing? What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. How are you feeling? Ask them that, because how many people get asked that, right? And you want to talk about a small talk shatterer. I mean, they may go into it a little bit, but even people who go, oh, I don't want to talk about it. If no one says anything, the next person that speaks is going to go, it's going to be that person going, but and then they're going to talk about it, right? So you just give them the space to really just see how they're feeling. And then that's when you're there for them. You don't have to go from zero to flat earth, right? You and I can, because we've done a lot of shit. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We've done a lot of work. Yeah. But my advice is for those people, because again, they need the hand just like you got, right? They need the kindness and patience, instead of them going, you fucking sheeple, you normie, fucking, you'll never get it, you dumb. Because that's how you really cast the this and them. You decide this. I think you really are scripting this place more than you know. And this is when we start breaking down the nuances of all of these little beliefs that we feel that we have about this place, especially the ego one in spirituality about the us and them, the 3D, 5D, they're over there, I'm over here, right? I've done the work they haven't. And so I would just sort of ask to, maybe just reframe sort of how we approach these things, rather than feeling like we're misunderstood. Well, they're kind of misunderstood as well, in the sense that they have no clue what the hell's going on. Think about it like this. Everyone has been getting slipped acid since 2020. Some of them have never tripped before, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. But we, have done a little bit of acid. We're a little seasoned when it comes to thinking outside the box a little bit. And we're here to not only help them with that, but offer them, a safe place for their ideas to grow, where there's going to be a lot of ego issues in there. Because think about ego challenges, rather. Think about when you really woke up, air quotes. And I'm going on again my 24th year, but man, that first 5-6 years, just shit show of just anger and fear. And, you go through that, right? And so for us to be that, it's going to be okay, and yeah, event, here we go. But just tell me about it.
I mean, so many good points in that. I mean, the thing is that, because, like you said, well, I was saying before that, we've had a number of years to sort of get to this point. These people are having to do so much more quickly. So, offering them kindness at the same time, these other people are there to help us learn about ourselves as well. So how do we want to engage with them, and not to allow them to drain our energy, and to still, find a way of being kind. And I think one of the kindest things, which you kind of pretty much said, Brandon, is to listen, to really, really listen. People don't listen. They don't actually, they're just waiting for their next. And when somebody's heard, they may start saying something. I think I must have frozen there.
Yeah, it's right. We can still hear you. The audio's good.
Mm-hmm.
But you saying about like the egotistic, I left a job because it was just egotistic battle between, I'd say, 95% of the people that work there. Everyone was like claiming to be better than the next person. I'm like, I can't come in here every day and listen to this. I was stuck in the middle of it all. Not everyone was like that, but the majority of them. And they said, when they asked me, because I got called into the manager's office and said reason for leaving, I went, because it's just pure testosterone egotisticism going on, and I ain't putting up with it. You can't pay me enough to deal with that. I found another job, but you didn't tell them that. But that was the reason that I started looking for another job. You go in, it's like just pure conflict all the time. and these are grown adults, and it's like,
Yep.
wow, you're
hard when
really
it's
like
raising like this?
Yeah, I'm not saying you've always got to put up with it. Again, it's, you know, be discerning on the situation. Obviously, for you, it was for you to leave to move to something else
Yeah.
because that environment didn't suit you. So it is for you to make that particular decision. So that's what I'm saying. You know, whatever the situation, whatever the circumstances, for us to kind of go, oh, okay, well, what can I get from this? Is this helping me, or is this actually just, you know, like with you saying, yeah, time to shift.
And it was just, I went in one day and it was like, no, can't do it. It was a good job. The hours were good. The money wasn't too bad. But it was just.
I
Five
seem
hours.
to keep freezing. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Don't know what's
no,
going
you're
on.
okay. The audio's fine. I think it's just the visuals. But I think
Oh,
when
okay.
it comes back on, like when you rewatch it, it'll probably sort itself out. It usually does.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, I just wish a lot more people were more open to have these conversations. It's like, I know it's a little bit different, but I went to a New Year's Eve party when I was living in Manchester, probably about 20 years ago or so. And I ended up playing chess, right? Just one game of chess against, obviously, this other guy. And we're chatting as we're playing it. And I thought, oh, well, I've been playing 20 minutes, 3.5 hours. And that was my New Year's Eve. It was a house party. It's only like a handful of people there. And it's like, it's just, yeah, I'd rather do that than have small talk. And I never met this guy. That was the thing again. Never met this guy. And we just, look.
But it's just like, it's going one step deeper. It's not like, oh, hey, what's your favorite movie? And then they tell you, and it's like, cool. It's like, why is that your favorite movie?
Yeah,
there
What
you
do
go.
Open,
Yeah.
open
Yes.
questions.
That's
Where
yeah.
were
That's
you
what
when
I
you
say.
first watched it?
Engage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Engage. Yeah. Really, really get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ask more
that's the
questions, right?
Mm.
Definitely.
Because you could steer the conversation. You'll see it happen. You can watch it just like a tide. You're like the airbender. You know, you walk into a situation where there's obviously just a program running, and your job is to plug into that ring of folk and go, you know, it's the Conversation with God author Neil Donald Walsh. He has a quote in his books where he writes, the only reason you're in the room is to heal the room. You're only in the room to heal the room. The only reason you're in the room is to heal the room. You're only in the room to heal the room. And he repeats it like that on purpose. You're only in the room to heal the room. Remember that. So if you walk into a place and you're the light of the place, it's not a bummer. You're like, oh shit, okay, I'm the light. Got it. I need to, you know, I'm now have the opportunity to really rise to this occasion rather than let everybody just be little vampires off of me and be the hors d'oeuvre. I'm just gonna rise to this, implant incredibly cool questions that really make people think, maybe offer some amazing suggestions for some group game or something like this, right? Really bring folks together. That's your opportunity there. And so you're welcome to squander it, you know, all of those things. But I would say you're right to be a little, I guess, dissuaded by the concept of pure small talk, because yeah, we're all past that. But what we're not past is community building, right? We're not past also knowing that all these people around you are still potentially people, you know, and that they just need a little light shined on them like you did.
You want to know what my go-to question is for people when I'm interviewing people at work? If you were a potato, what kind of potato would you be?
Oh, that's interesting. Because because the type of answer they give, right? If they give like a raw in the ground answer, or if they give a dish prepared that way answer. Ooh, Dawn, what kind of potato?
See,
A sweet potato.
Come on, that was too easy. Andy?
sorry. I've got to put it up 1 second. This isn't me, by the way. Wait.
Simon is really coming in hot with these one-liners lately.
I know. So is it what type of potato? Like a Maris Piper, a King Edward, or
See, Andy's an overthinking potato.
is it prepared? So if it's
potato head,
ready to eat, it'd be jacket potato.
Oh, that's what I said. Okay, roasted sweet potato. I prefer them to the whites.
Okay, a little warmer.
Brandon, what are you?
You answered first.
I am sweet potato fries.
Okay. I'm gonna be those seasoned
Mm.
fries, you know, like I'm gonna be very specific on this. I'm gonna be the ones that are really thin at the points, to where they're not super thick, that they don't get uncooked in the middle. They're like perfectly seasoned, little burnt ends a little bit, and I'm all of the perfect seasoned fries you've ever had. Boom.
Mm,
Everybody in the chat has to tell me what kind of potato you are now too, besides
yes.
couch potatoes.
That was great.
So I was thinking mash, but no, that's just wrong.
Roast. Jojo is a roast potato.
Why is mash wrong, Andy? Well, why are you saying
Oh,
mash
it
is
just
wrong?
seems a bit. You're a bit here, there, and everywhere. You're so sloppy, and it's just there's no
Not necessarily. No,
there's
no.
no structure to it.
But everybody
Which means you can be anything. You can assume any form. You can fill any vessel. That means you're more moldable and malleable. Like, you have a variety of forms that you can take.
Mashed
Yeah.
potatoes is comfort.
There you go.
Is it?
Everybody likes that. It's comfort food. Like,
Takes a lot of work to make them. You know, I mean, so there's a labor of love involved.
roasted purple
Yeah,
potato.
but I cheat and buy it like pre-mashed in the plastic tubs and just warm it up in the
Somebody had to
microwave.
mash them.
Labor
Yeah,
of
it
love.
wasn't me. Too lazy.
Well, why did you say it was wrong? Why did you say it was wrong?
I just felt like, because it's all just, because when you put it on the plate, it's just all over the place. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not, well, I am a bit all over the place, but I think more like a jacket potato. I don't know. I really don't know. Who even am I? Yeah.
baked
So I don't know.
potato.
I think baked.
I'm changing mine, Adam. I'm with you.
Baked jacket.
Nice baked potato.
Oh,
Mary baked.
Mary's baked, yeah, baked potato.
Shout out. That's my boo. Cute.
Hi, Mary.
Hello. Why potato?
Because
Why
it's
not?
The amount of variance.
You know, I love it because it's pattern interrupting.
And people are coming in, they're interviewing, they're like, why are you good for this job? And I'm like, what kind of potato are you? They're like, can you think on your feet? Can you just roll with things? You're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what kind of potato I am.
And it switches brain.
Who doesn't know what kind of potato they are?
But it's good. It's because it's an exercise in, just, your cognitive ability to just rationalize and think of something that is not having to do with subject matter whatsoever. So it's actually a brilliant question on a lot of levels. I like it. And it gets people out of that expectation mode of performance. Like, oh God, I'm here and I have to perform. It's like, no, just be you. Let's shift this train from this track to that track. That's alchemy. I love that question, Nicole. Great job.
Yeah, I love JoJo's. What type of animal? What type of animal would you be? Okay, let's do this one. Nicole.
Tiger.
Andy, you're gonna be a tiger?
Oh, okay. That's two of us then.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a bird. A hawk specifically.
Oh, okay. Brandon.
I'm going to be a dog, and my dog specifically, actually, Yokai, because she's the coolest damn dog ever. Plus, she'd get to hang out. I'm an awesome, we're a great team. So that, I think, would be a lot of fun. Yeah. So specifically, my dog, Yokai. Yeah.
But on the downside of being a dog, when you get wet, you're going to smell of a wet dog all the time.
I don't care, but you don't care. You're a dog. You don't care. You have no sense of time. Like, you see farts come out of people's, because you see, differences in change and smell. Like, you don't care, dude.
Fair enough.
Dawn, what animal are you?
Tiger.
Dawn.
Oh,
tiger.
What would I be? It's just I don't know what I do love the big cats, but I kind of tiger, but it's so a big cat of some description.
The snow tiger.
Yeah, like a snow leopard. Those are badass. Super rare.
They are beautiful.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's spirit animal is a slug. Interesting.
I thought it'd be a grasshopper.
Grasshopper said lion, let the women do the work.
He's honest. I mean, if that's how he feels.
Badger or a dog.
Yeah.
Wolf, yeah.
Brian C. Sasquatch.
Sasquatch animal though.
Getting,
that's true. Yes,
elemental
technically
now.
animal.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically we're animals, right?
Well,
I like how nobody said human though. We're all like,
No.
fuck that.
Yeah.
I want to be like a harpy eagle or something.
I don't
cool.
want to be human. They're
Well, nickname
assholes.
We'll take it
Adam,
for this spin, and I'm probably done after this ride.
when you're a human, what would you be?
I wouldn't. Can I choose none?
Nope.
You're doing
Non-human.
it
I
now.
wanna be a
You're-
non-human person, as Tilly says. A non-human person.
Yeah. Yeah, surely that must be a thing because you can have like non-binary and so forth. So can I be non-human?
Yeah.
You could
a
have
non-human human.
a
And you're
non-human.
a non-human person. But
Yeah.
what is a person? Oh, we're going to get into definitions here. We're going to get into
You
these
pull up
like,
the Black's Law?
okay,
I will.
what's a person? Yes, what is a person? But again, person isn't
The
necessarily.
definition of the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
are we
Well,
gonna-
okay. So is it? Is
What's going on?
yeah.
Yeah. Should we stop? Because that's different time for rabbit hole.
Andy, is this going on syndication? Did we have to cut it in an hour and a half?
Yes. Oh yeah, because we're going on to on X network with race Hobbs over in the US. So we're going to be going on there as of this podcast. So
That just means
right.
we need to do a part 2.
yeah, we can do part 2, part 3, part 4.
Yeah.
We'll do like Police Academy, part 28 and so on.
Hell yeah. Now we're talking.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. We've got plenty of availability. How does Friday the 13th of September sound?
Ooh, Friday the 13th. That's spooky.
Yeah, we can do that probably.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm analog.
Hang
Hang
on.
on.
I need to write it down.
Let me pretend to check my calendar. I don't think I have anything going.
That is 5 days before my level 42 level up. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Ooh.
13th, I'm open.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. Love Friday the 13th.
Mhm.
Booked.
Excellent.
Friday the 13th special.
Yay.
Same
should
bat
dress
time,
up.
same bat channel.
Yeah, same time, same everything, different conversation. Carried on conversation from this one. Do you know what? I love it when we do streams like this and we never know where it's going, but it's a constant flow. There's no small talk. There you go.
Fuck small
Gotta
talk.
get
That's the
live.
name of the episode.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no small talk doesn't exist for non-humans.
We do expanded talk, right? We'll expand the conversation by the techniques
Yeah.
we just talked about, the invitations we have for those to really dive in for that 5-year-old to come out and play.
Yeah.
And give them a safe place
Yeah.
to do that, not a, oh, you're dumb because you didn't know that place, because I mean, who wants that to be the
Mm.
case in any
Yeah.
way, right?
That's
Supportive,
a shutdown.
loving
That
environment.
shuts people down. Yeah.
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
'cause it
being
did to
called
you.
Names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, because we've all walked that, and so I loved it, Dawn. Your analogy about picking the stone up behind you was beautiful as well. Because if you think about that, they need that stone, But what's really nice is on the way over, or whatever. If you're on the other side, sticking with the metaphor, somebody's like, oh, hey, that third stone, it's like this. Here's the trick to it. You've already stepped on the stone. Where there's a flat spot, where there's, it's not as slippery. All that, right? The metaphor, and so leave it there because that's a path somebody else is going to take as well, and you can guide them through that with kindness instead of being like, aha, you're dumb, you fell in the water. Again, it's just, I think we all really have this very interesting opportunity to really just next level this shit right here. But it has all to do with hubris. It's got to do with just this grace about being able to deliver, the information and to also be a shoulder, but also not to be a stepping post, So it's really interesting.
Mm.
But
100%.
that brings up the question, does that stone exist? Because once you've passed it, is that another part of the matrix?
And the beautiful thing is it's only going to be necessary later because it was a step in your journey, and then it's something that you can help somebody with later. But as far as dwelling on it or really like obsessing over one of the steps that you took to get you where you are, I think that's where your energy is misused, right?
Yeah, you should look at the positive of what got you there.
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
that it got you there. That it
Regardless
got you
of
where you are and you're
anything
still
else that
here.
went on.
That's
Yeah.
enough, and
Yeah.
just that you're not there anymore. I mean, instead of like dreading doing something, look forward to getting it over with. This is the alchemy here. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
this just little switch, like Nicole did with that question. Just switch the tracks, right?
it's like glass half full or half empty. Always half full.
Yeah, it's always learning but there's you learn something from it, and not to drag it with you, and not to keep revisiting it, and if you do, to recognize there's something for you to process. But it's the learning, not carrying, not hanging on to it, not dragging it, and also how you how you interact with other people, because saying, oh, they're stupid, they don't know stuff. I mean, that is again, it's arrogance, and that suggests that you think you know better, and the chances are these other people may well know something that you can learn from them. So
definitely.
To
I don't know anything.
To recognize that we yes, I have an issue with the thing, wise people know that they know nothing. It's not that you know nothing, it's just that there's loads more to learn, and you don't know everything. And that's the point. Like with you
are a lot smarter than the people who think they know everything.
The Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah,
because I'd never, just because of, I suppose, the way someone's talking or how they're talking, that, oh my God, this person's stupid. It's like they might have the knowledge for absolutely everything. And it's like, same again, judging a book by its cover. There's a lot of cliches here, but that's what it is, though, isn't it? It's you're not giving that person or them people chance to express what it is that is going on.
Or the people who ask a million questions, they get a million answers, as opposed to the people who want to act like they know everything and don't ask any questions.
Yeah, because they believe they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Good show.
Great show.
Not where we thought it was going, but
no.
If you don't have a plan, that's the best. We just go for it. Yeah, we get to cover a lot of ground with no plan.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the organic conversations.
Fucking A.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Simon just put, I'm going to go and bake a potato. Do you know what? He probably is. Knowing him, he probably is going to go and cook mash and chips and fries and God knows whatever else. No, but yeah, we just, I got to say, we'll carry on from here, but should we just start fresh? New chapter, next one?
No plan.
Yeah.
Roll into it.
We could start with how the ballpoint pen wasn't invented until 5 years after Anne Frank wrote her diary. Allegedly, the pen she wrote it with.
And I want to talk about the Eiffel Tower.
Ooh, yeah.
The Eiffel Tower and the ether.
Yep. There's a lot more to it that was destroyed.
Not got a clue what you're talking about.
Helen Keller's a psyop too. Didn't exist.
But I don't know what you're talking about. I can't wait for that one.
We'll get into it. Little teaser for next time.
Yeah, I'm not even going to do any research on it. I'm just going to wait for you to tell me. That'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Right. So
depends on how deep you want to go into the Anne Frank thing as well. But anyway, that's another.
How her dad had to be added as co-author legally, and how that pen wasn't invented until the one she used for the diary wasn't invented until 5 years after she wrote the damn thing. Well, that's fascinating. Either she's a time traveler, and we can talk about that.
Time traveler. That was just about to say that as you said it. So yeah.
Or did she even write it? Or did it really happen?
And we are going over time. Do you have any updates?
I'm going to be going out on my kayak very soon. So I've joined the sailing club. I have it. I've joined the sailing club. I've got my Paddle
What's
UK
its name?
license. Doesn't have a name yet.
What?
Still,
you haven't named it the SS Dope as Shit or something?
Been trying everything. I might
the
go.
chat was trying to name it. And
they're in the chat for the names. Do a contest with your listeners on who can name your boat.
Yeah.
Give them like a
Whoever
t-shirt.
it will win some. I don't know what.
Yeah, give them something on the wall or something. Something back there. Just send them that.
I've got a
there you go.
USB-C charger.
God,
there
what a
you
deal. That's a prize right there.
Awesome.
So
I've got my life jacket. I'm ordering my rope and anchor tomorrow. I meant to do it today, but I forgot. I've just been so busy this week. So if you come up with a good name, then I'll find something.
Maybe with laser inflate with the
no, he told me that the other day.
Bodie McBoatface, Adam. Did you guys hear
I
about that Rocket
like
McRocket
Rocket
face? You've heard of
Say
that?
again?
The Rocky McRocket face?
No, not that. No,
Yeah, there was
a
a country, I want to say it was UK, that held a competition to name a rocket that they were sending
Yes,
up into space, and they
yes.
let everybody name it. And they had a write-in where they wrote Rocky McRocket face, and they had to name it that. And then they never did let the competition happen again. They had a bunch of things like, I don't know,
and it's
Endeavor or
actually
something, right?
It's actually got a phone holder. It just clips onto the side, and you put your phone on it. And so I'm going to be doing. And I've been to the sailing club the other day having a look round, and it's a really good signal. I can camp there overnight as long as I let them know when I'm going, so I can camp. So I might do a evening walk around investigation, because there have been man-like creatures, stroke Bigfoot type things, seen in and around the area.
Hairy man-like creatures.
Did you say which area? Did you say what? Did you say what area? I don't remember you.
No, I've not said the area.
No. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
It's in
Okay.
Northamptonshire, so not too
okay.
far from where I am.
Interesting.
Yes. So yeah, looking forward to going.
Don's ready to get a kayak, it sounds like.
Yeah, the kayak is there in a bag. I inflated it. There's no holes in it. Deflated it, then forgot how to fold it up, and had to go on YouTube watch somebody else do it.
Just make sure you don't have anything sharp in your pants, you know?
No. Yeah. It's not even
that
answering that one.
And on that note,
We're gonna go.
I thought we weren't going to do small talk, Andy. Oh, shots fired. Hang on. There you go.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was so good. Right. On that note, we are definitely going to go. Thank you, everyone watching on TikTok. Everyone who's listening on podcast. Remember, you can still join membership on Patreon. You can donate via PayPal. When YouTube finally let me go monetize, I'm getting rid of the membership, and I'm just going to do super chat. And there is Dawn's book, What Really Makes You Ill: Why Everything You Thought You Knew About Disease Is Wrong.
If you don't follow Dawn, go follow Dawn. If you don't follow Brandon, go follow Brandon. He posts some really interesting stuff.
Yes.
And Dawn
Just
writes
follow up,
really
everyone.
Yeah, just
Thank
follow
you,
us.
Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for that. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
love, for writing it.
Thank
Good
you.
Lord. It's a
Oh,
phenomenal
very-
resource.
Incredibly entertaining. So just follow everybody.
Definitely.
Mhm.
See you all again soon.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys. This was
so-
amazing. Always a
It's
pleasure.
been
is.
fun. It's been
Yes.
real fun. It's great.
See you in a
Thanks.
few weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. 4 weeks today. There you go. 28 days. The lunar.
28 days. Isn't there something like,
Ooh.
yeah, the lunar cycle?
Yeah, the lunar cycle.
See you in one lunar cycle.
There we go.
All right.
Excellent. Right.
Andy, you
So
pull it.
gonna go. Thank you everyone on all the platforms, and we will be part of Unex Network. This will go out at 10 p.m. Central Time in the US on a Saturday evening. That's all I've got. So take care, and we will see you on Monday. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye bye for now.
Bye.
Great.